Relationships are extremely complex because we as humans are complex. Lesson 8 is all about how we form relationships, how we maintain them, and how they can deteriorate. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to walk you through each of the aspects within this lesson, along with my expectations for how I'd like you to complete each of the activities. You will begin by reading chapters 7 and 8, and then as an additional learning tool, you can feel free to view the chapters 7 and 8 PowerPoints that are in here. You will be completing your second and final deliberative dialogue of the semester. So I have posted my deliberative dialogue lecture / PowerPoint that you saw in a few lessons ago. This will help you to structure and organize your statement that you will then record and submit to the discussion board. Our second deliberative dialogue required you to vote on several different topics, and depending upon the class that you're in, you'll notice that the topic has been highlighted in yellow. This particular example is for a particular class who the majority of the votes went for standing for the national anthem. Yours might be a little different, and it will be notated in this area of the guidelines for this activity. Please make sure that you review the feedback that I gave you on your previous dialogue, so that way you can make corrections to any mistake that you possibly have made. You can make the correction so you'll avoid making it for this particular dialogue statement. You'll be creating your stake, your source, your statement of position, and a possible solution, but I did notice that in my previous guidelines, I asked that you create a citation in APA format. I apologize for that. I'm having you do something a little bit different, which is actually recording, not submitting your written statement. So I've done away with that guideline, and you'll notice that I just ask that you provide the title of the source at the time that you're saying the source's information, along with the title of the article and the name of the author or the sponsoring organization. So that'll be a little bit different than last time. You don't have to worry about submitting an APA citation. Please make sure that you keep your statement to the length requirement of a half a page, no longer than a full page. And you will be submitting your recording to the discussion board and responding to at least 2 other classmates' posts. So none of that has changed. I ask that you submit your recording no later than 11:59 p.m. on October 28th, which is a Saturday. And then you can respond to at least 2 other classmates' posts by October 29th, 11:59 p.m. I've given you the example that I gave you in a previous lesson. Feel free to use that as a example only, not a template, because I'm having you do a little bit differently this time for yours. I've provided the directions to how to submit your recordings. Again, you will just record either using your webcam or your cell phone. It's fine for right now if you want to use your cell phone, if that's the only means for you to be able to record. Just please, on any device, make sure you double check the recording to make sure we can actually hear you. You will upload your recording to YouTube, and then once YouTube creates that link, you'll just copy and paste the link into the discussion board titled Deliberative Dialogue Discussion 2. And I've provided that for you in this lesson. You'll just simply click on Open Discussion for Deliberative Dialogue. It will bring you here, which is the discussion board, and you can just copy and paste your link down here. Hit Submit, and then reply to at least 2 other classmates' posts. Next, you will be doing a cost-benefit analysis as it relates to the social exchange theory that you'll read about in your textbook. In order to do a cost-benefit analysis, I'm having you read an article from The Atlantic. You'll just click on the link that's provided for you here. It will bring you to the article titled The Hidden Costs of Being in a Relationship, this article is purposefully one-sided because it's going to give you all the costs for the cost-benefit analysis, and you are going to read through all the costs of what it means to be in a relationship. And then, after you've done that, you will go to the guidelines. I'm just going to scroll down to it. The file is attached, so please make sure you open that so you can view the entire set of guidelines. And you'll come up with a list of all the benefits to outweigh the costs of being in a relationship, and then you're going to answer the following questions in complete sentence format. Those questions are: why do we tolerate relationships with people who are not ideal companions? Is it cold and calculating to expect benefits from a relationship? What quirks do you tolerate in your relationships, and what quirks do your relational partners have to tolerate about you? Disclose to the level you feel comfortable disclosing and you think I'm going to feel comfortable hearing. When I ask you to write a complete sentence, what I mean by that is you want to take the question that is being asked and restate it into statement format to follow your response. So, for example, why do we tolerate relationships with people who are not ideal companions? To rephrase that, to make it a complete sentence, I would say, we tolerate relationships with people who are not ideal companions because, finish that out, period. That's what will make that a truly complete sentence format submission. I ask that when you complete this cost-benefit analysis that you do so on a fresh new Word document. So make sure that you're not writing in the guidelines itself. I want you to submit a new document that has your responses to it. This assignment's worth 12 points, and along with the guidelines, it gives you the grading rubric, and it will be present, not present rating scale, but the present will equal 2 points versus 1 point, which it has been in the past. So please make sure you review that as well and make sure you complete it to your fullest, and then you'll save it to your USB drive or to your desktop and then submit to the Dropbox. Then I ask that you complete a conflict analysis worksheet. This worksheet is going to assist you in completing your conflict analysis paper that will be due at the end of close to the end of the semester. So please make sure you open the file that's attached. And I'm just asking that you recall a recent conflict at work, home, or school. Consider what the underlying causes of the conflict were and your role along with the other person's role in the initial conflict. And then based upon you recalling that event, you are going to answer the questions by providing, you're going to answer the questions based upon a rating scale that's provided. And the rating scale is on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being never, 5 being very often. And you're just going to rate each of these questions accordingly, total your points, and then the total will give you what the total means, or not the total, the description below will give you what your total points mean. So either it's a healthy conflict resolution skill or it's an unhealthy conflict resolution skill. And then I ask that you complete the following questions in complete sentence format. Because this is an actual worksheet, you can write on this worksheet. So write the number here and then respond to these questions in complete sentence format right here. Save this document to your USB or to your desktop and then submit to the Dropbox provided. Those will be due by Sunday, October 29th, and I'm noticing some date discrepancies in here really quickly, so I'm going to change that. And it should be the 29th for all of these, not the 28th. So again, that will be the 29th that all of these will be due. And a few weeks ago, I formally introduced your occupational interview project. Your paper will be due in this lesson. You've had prompts for the last several weeks moving you forward towards the finish line. So your finish line is in sight now. Your paper will be due Sunday, October 29th by 11:59 p.m. So I did post in here information that I gave you previously, but it's just to serve as a reminder. So if you would like to receive 10 points extra credit for your paper, I ask that you submit and have somebody peer review it, either from Academic Services or submitting it to NetTutor. And I give you directions on how to follow through with that. And then again, the Dropbox is provided right here. This paper is worth 100 points. I've provided you feedback based upon the questions for your interview, along with the person that you were going to be interviewing. If you were having issues thinking of somebody to interview, I've provided you with feedback, and I haven't heard from anybody since that feedback, so I'm assuming that you all have had your interviews and or have them scheduled with somebody, and all you have left to do is either complete the interview and write the paper, or write the paper. But again, your paper will be due no later than October 29th by 11:59 p.m. and that's why you'll see it located in this Dropbox here. I've provided you with a glimpse of the guidelines for the conflict analysis paper. You can open up the whole file here to view those. I've introduced it here to give you time to work on it, but it's not going to be due until December 3rd. You are more than welcome to submit your papers early. The Dropboxes have always been in the Dropbox section. However, because there are specific due dates, because this is not a self-paced course, I will have your Dropbox for the conflict analysis paper in lesson 11 for you. But if you finish it before then and you want to submit it early, just go directly to the Dropbox button in E360. To complete this lesson, you'll complete chapters 7 and 8 quiz. It's one whole quiz, that's why you see that there are 20 points. 10 questions are multiple choice, 10 questions are true and false. You are allowed multiple times until the due date to take this quiz. The due date is the 29th. Noticing a common theme here that I keep putting the 28th, and that's incorrect. It's the 29th. So please make sure you see that change. But you are, again, allowed to take it multiple times up until the due date or until you reach 100, whatever comes first. Then the lesson is complete. If you have any questions between now and when you're working on these items, please don't hesitate to ask. I ask that you come to me with your questions with enough time in advance to complete any and all assignments on or before the due date. Keep up the good work.